Welcome to your Average Joe Utah Sports Fan Podcast. A judge just ruled that Alabama basketball player and former NBA G Leaguer Charles Bediako is no longer eligible to play basketball for Alabama. This is a common sense ruling by the judge. Look, for those players who have declared for the NBA draft, were drafted, and then end up in the G League, it doesn't make any sense for them to return to college. They've had their chance. They got to the NBA, they're in the G League, and apparently they've washed out. And that's why they're trying to get back to college so that they can, one, make a lot of NIL money, two, improve their skills so they get a second bite at the apple. Well, why do these guys get a second bite at the apple? Look, I'm not anti-NIL. I think NIL is a great thing. These players should be paid. They've earned the right to be paid for their skill set. Pay these guys. So I'm not against these players being paid. They should. What I'm against is a collegiate athlete coming into a school or multiple schools and then entering into the NBA and realizing, hey, they're not good enough to play at the premier level of the NBA. And so they say, hey, I'm going back to college so I can improve my game. No, you're in the G League. You're supposed to improve your game and your skills in the G League. And so you either move up or you get washed out and you're done. So that's where you get to prove yourself, is at the G League level. I'm sorry. You should be able to go back down to the collegiate level. That should not be allowed. So I think that this is a very common sense ruling by this judge. What we should be allowing at the NCAA collegiate level is for high school players to be able to come into the system and improve their skill set, for them to make the NIL money, for them to get paid, and for them to develop and showcase their skills, and then for them to get their opportunity to get drafted into the NBA. I like this moving up from the high school into the collegiate level and then moving up into the NBA. What I am against is the fact that somebody has moved up to the NBA level and says, I'm not ready. I haven't made it. And then moving back down. That's what I'm against, is that aspect. And that's why I like this ruling by the judge saying, nope, I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow it. And what I hope is that this sets a precedent for the rest of the NCAA, because we've started to see these G Leaguers trickle in across the NCAA this season. And I hope that we don't see any more of it. Now, will we see more G Leaguers come in? It's hard to say. We may or we may not. But what I'm hoping is that as G Leaguers try to come into the NCAA, that other judges look at this precedent and say, no, we're not going to accept it. It's not going to be okay. And that's what I'd like to see moving forward, is that when you've made it into the NBA, even if you're a G Leaguer, that we're not going to allow you to come back down to the NCAA and play and accept this NIL. This is a place where we should have high school kids moving up, developing their skills, and then having the opportunity to move into the NBA. Thanks so much for listening to your Average Joe Utah Sports Fan Podcast. Feel welcome to provide a comment. Please hit like and subscribe, as it will help grow the channel.